Oh yeah. Unale we pledge, we love and loyalty. To we sweet, sweet mama salute. Now we all come together as well. For tomorrow, now we go make salute.
Yes, family, I want to welcome back to yet another very important segment where they come through the Talking Point platform. My name is Mohamed Kagbo, and today is the 23rd of April 2022. We get too many issues for can analyze. The first one was the U.S. Embassy don't blast the Sierra Leone government for the gross human rights violation, where according to them, this is now something way worrisome for democracy. Secondly, KKY don't speak on the much talk about fake degree, the fake PhDs, the way they go around the country, and this and more. You get the opportunity also for send you text message, and definitely we'll read as always. And don't forget the program they come directly also on YouTube TTP Leone. And if you whenever you reach YouTube, just subscribe because subscription are free, and that's now one way you go support the channel for good. I'm not gonna sign, but they can for can show now the issues there deeply.
Talking Point platform for news every day now we country alone. For education, entertainment, political affairs, TV. We got enough Tanga one inside Sierra Leone, like a big quantity. We breeze not a shit, TV.
Yeah, so Famu, let me go straight to the point. For many weeks, months, years, we, especially in this platform, the Talking Point platform, we don't try a little bit for point out some of the excess of the institutions that we claim for represent, we claim for protect, we particularly the police, the justice system, and other places. Them, and now finally the other big development partner like the U.S. Embassy don't pull a statement where they challenge and they show serious concern about the gross human rights violation where they say it's not good for democracy. Democracy, we know say the moral guarantors and the US are one of the moral guarantors and the European Union and others. All of them strong institutions that all don't talk something negative about the government, about the way that they manhandle citizens, how the rule of law, the way the democratic dispensation they take place, the way the principles and the way the institutions they function. A few months ago, it was the EU. We talk about a damning report also. We name 4 institutions them, the police, the judiciary, the PPRC, and NEC for say Salon people are not get and they don't get confidence in them. And the government be angered, the government be feel very bad, and as a result, they even challenge her. But now we don't get back another one. The U.S. ambassador release their own findings about the government say. Then they continuously they do a gross human right violation. And human right violation, by definition, is something where the government they do against, because you get abuse, you get violation, you get human rights abuse, where we they do until we serve, But violation where the government institutions, the apparatus, then they go against the law, they even default, or even they bend the law just in case maybe sometimes they get orders from the above. And this is not good for any democracy, particularly where we own democracy still young. We just try for mature, nurture for immature. And for institutions like this, places like U.S. Embassy, they come out with them very strong criticism here, a very worrisome. And we believe say this now a time a wake up call for we leaders then for pay attention on some of them faults there, then with drawbacks there, and made them try for step up then in game and make sure say yes, then deliver to the expectation of not only the development partner, but for we as a citizen. Because the thing is, it's about us. Definitely, it's about we the citizens, and now we get to analyze how if we government they will we find if they treat we well or not. But over the years, we don't see the way, particularly when this new administration come, we see the iron fist what they use by even small demonstration, by even for go take machine. We see the vengeance as if to say we are enemies there. But anyway, let not go far. Let just bring a counter now. Let not listen. The U.S. embassy waiting and talk about the government's mishandling of human rights issues, and from there we'll come and analyze a little bit further on that.
All right, this morning, our first conversation for nearly 5 decades, the States has issued the country report on the human rights practices, which strives to provide a factual and objective record on the status of human rights worldwide. In 2021, the report covered 198 countries and territories. In Sierra Leone, the report stated there are significant human rights issues, including credible reports of unlawful or arbitrary killings by the government, cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment by government or on behalf of government, harsh and life-threatening prison conditions, arbitrary arrest or detention, serious government corruption, existence of laws criminalizing consensual same-sex conduct between adults, although the laws were not enforced, and existence of the worst forms of child labor. The report further noted many other things which we're here this morning to discuss. And to discuss the report, we have with us Sarah Van Horn, the Public Relations Officer from the U.S. Embassy in Freetown. And we also have with us Victor Lansana, who is the Vice Chairperson of the Sierra Leone Human Rights Commission. Good morning and welcome to Wake Up Sierra Leone.
Good morning.
All right. Hope you had a wonderful holiday. Hope you enjoyed your holiday. And we're getting into serious things now. You've been publishing the State of Human Rights report globally, and the findings in Sierra Leone are pretty much worrisome if we're to go by the things you've highlighted in your report. But first off, when you conduct these reports or these surveys, what specifically do you use as a form of methodology to get your facts?
Well, thank you so much. And as you say, we've been doing this for quite some time, for almost 50 years now. And this last year, we did it in 198 countries, and methodology was the same across all of those countries. So what we look at is what are the facts, what has happened in different sectors. So we look at respect for integrity of the person, that's were people unlawfully killed? Were people detained? We look at respect for civil liberties. That's things like expression of the media. That's freedom of religion.
Right.
We also look at freedom to participate in the political process. Are people allowed to vote? Are elections free and fair? Corruption and lack of transparency in the government. Whether or not the government allows investigations to take place on human rights issues.
Right.
Whether there's discrimination or societal abuses, and what is the status of workers' rights, labor rights. So those same 7 categories are looked at across all of the reports. And the reports are compiled by U.S. embassies across the world, and we get the information by speaking with representatives of the government, but also speaking with non-government organizations, with charitable organizations, with civil society activists, and we pull together a report that way. It's important to note that the report is not an analysis and it's not a judgment. So it's trying, as you said earlier, to pull together the objective facts. These are the things that happened. This law exists, this law does not exist. There were arbitrary arrests, there were not arbitrary arrests. It's not supposed to provide judgment, analysis, or policy recommendations per se.
Right.
It's also not supposed to be a complete report of everything that happened. So there are a couple of cases that were highlighted as good examples, illustrative examples of what's going on, but it's not supposed to catalog every single human rights issue or situation that occurred. So that's how our methodology works on that.
Do you just rely on speaking to government officials, to non-governmental organizations, to individuals in the different areas? I'm asking because, for example, in some instances, some situations might require your presence to validate things like that. For example, when you talk about prisons, you have to ensure that you go and assess yourself. So do you on a normal day do that?
Yeah, for sure. So various people in the embassy get called for their work in different parts of the country, right? So there were by-elections recently, and we had embassy observers there. We have the consular section in the U.S. Embassy that's responsible for working with American Citizen Services, and so if someone is arrested, they will go and visit them, and they see what's going on in the prison there. We also go for meetings and travel up country for a variety of different ways. So we're a small team. We're actually a surprisingly small embassy, so we can't be everywhere at once. But we do base the information on the information that we have seen, but also with conversations with NGOs. With other like-minded partners, we look at other reports, we talk with the government, and so we pull it together from all these different sources.
And as Samuel mentioned, the prisons and taking a look at what's happening there and speaking to government officials, ministries, departments, and agencies, looking at the reports on pre-trial detention. The report mentions Mohammed Cameron's case, but it states here that he was released on September 7th. Is there a reason why we've chosen, that wording? Because he has been granted bail, but he is still in.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you for bringing that up. So the report looks at the distinct period of time. So we were just looking at the 2021 reporting period. And when the report was compiled, the information had been received that he would be granted bail. And so the report was compiled with the assumption that he would then get bail and be released. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. But that was the status of the information as we saw it when the report was compiled. So likely in next year's report, that case will then be further updated.
Right. And isn't this going to affect the perception of what's happening in Sierra Leone? Because this is a report that other countries are going to look at. This is a report that's going to be used, whether that's the intention behind it or not, but that it's going to be used to assess human rights issues. So stating that someone has been released when they're not could be a sticky situation to be in.
So I think, again, it's important to look at, these are supposed to be illustrative cases, and the illustrative case that particular case was showing was around the prison conditions in Sierra Leone. So regardless on sort of where he is now, that information is still valid, that information stays. And, he was granted bail, and that's not sort of what happened. So, but I would look at sort of the report as a capture of trends and look at sort of those larger trend lines as opposed to sort of this individual case, that individual case. And if you look at the trend lines, yes, there are some concerning issues, but we also that there were some attempts at reform after issues were raised, that some officials involved in some of these things, or police officers involved in some of the issues that were noted in the report, did stand trial or did lose their job. So there are some areas of concern, as there are in many countries, right? There isn't, including the U.S. is not perfect either. So we don't come and claim that we have all of the answers. But it is important to.
All right, so Fambule, Yeah, so Famula, that was the U.S. embassy they don't take regarding the government gross human rights violation. This not to say we say not to we they talk now. This they come up from higher ranking institutions and way like the U.S. embassy, where they call on government for pay attention on certain things that will really mean matter will matter to democracy. For example, in the case of Kamarimba, I mean, many times now, people and institutions say we don't talk. I say, Kamaremba is not above the law. But when you look at in case you didn't say there is no other way to explain how you get political undertone in the sense that one, in fact, for the U.S. embassy was angry because they mislead them. First, government pull statement say they don't grant and bail. After that, they say no, it's the bail, and then put her and the report will then just release. The U.S. embassy put and say they release Kamarimba, but unfortunately, as you hear from the lady, they don't release her. He's still in a prison. So, and the next report they get for put on there. And so this they talk about how we government they rule we. I mean, if a government they forget criticism, forget people the way they talk about you, forget people the way they point some of your weaknesses. Believe me, they grow as a government, even as an individual. Like oh, they are this platform, so we get people that sometimes they can't they criticize with and they do all kind of things, but we not they go against them because we not say not so that they make we become much more better, much more stronger, much more serious. And so as a government, this now we all country in the sense anything what they do, we all get right. People, the issues like the Ibaku, like you see from the US embassy, most of the things where them put so, if not all, not a new thing there. You and me know them. The death there, you see the US embassy mentioned the death there, the unlawful arrest them, the political detainees there, all of these things. I think they will don't talk now many times. We don't play them videos and they so that just like a collection of facts. I made them say this now objective analysis that they make now collection of facts. Even so they say they can judge, but this not just what they collect on a fact, objective facts. So we want our country better. We want our government better. We want our government serve better. We want let good governance take place better. Because one of the things first, human rights, nothing way in a fundamental, not supposed to give you, nothing where you're born with. Therefore, nobody not get right in any way. Not because of you vote for her, you don't get the power to take away from you. And this then case I will see. So there are many. Now, again, one of the reasons why we believe very strongly in Naya, why people like Kamarimba, then sentence one, I mean, then they want a prison up to this point, a political. There is no other way you able to explain her pass that way. A political, because this was a very fierce critic of the government. I think let's just see if we were able to play one of in clip then alone see when this gentleman be they handle the government, you will not say the reason why the government be they look for opportunity for Ola. Because like I say, the man is still there under the law. He's still there under, he's under the law in the sense that they can even grant a bail. And based on his status, I feel safe for still get the opportunity for attempt the court hearing until a judge found him guilty or not. But if you then just hold on, so many people don't commit treasonous cases there or bad cases there, where government they look over, they oversight, and they overlook. We don't see them. We don't see them many cases there. So this is not good for democracy. It absolutely not help we. Now we name they go out there, to we development partners say we not serious about democracy because they don't. One force, the government mislead the U.S. embassy by saying they don't release Kamarimba, but unfortunately they don't release her. They just say they grant and bail. And after that, they say the man on meets bill. Whose condition? I mean, the man, we all know as a leone, and the man will get, it's just funny when, he can hurt where you get some folks there where they try for, just insult people and intelligence. We all know the reason why it makes up till now Kamarimba Day in prison. Anyway, maybe some of you don't know. Let's just refresh our mind. The reason we make Kamarimba still in a prison. The rape case not just an opportunity for government for make them handler. And let's just take a look. The reason why Kamarimba is still in a prison. The reaction.
Kamarimba, your thoughts on this? According to government, there is much interest being put into agriculture so that we'll become food self-sufficiency. In over annually, what we import is 900 metric tons of rice annually. That is, and majority of that's what we eat. Majority of which is being imported. And when presentations were made for budget allocation, the then minister Joseph Ndanema pleaded that government gives the ministry 10% of the budget so that they will be able to do all of what they are supposed to do, so that we are able to feed Sierra Leone as a nation. And they also pleaded for 73% of that money to be paid in the first and second quarter, so that preparation will be done. So how would you assess government's commitment in reality as against the pronouncement in terms of agriculture, so that Sierra Leone can feed itself?
Thank you, Samuel. One thing about, I've said it, this government is good in rhetorics. My sister was just mentioning bridge and all these white elephant programs. They're good. You've just hit the nail there. About over $300 million. That's why we imported rice and other commodities for us to eat. 300 million US dollars. Money we should be using here in agriculture. Now, if you see the percentage that this government allocated to agriculture, it's a minute. So if you are saying things, and in reality, there's not much money, where are the farms they're talking about? This is 22 months, for goodness sake. The time is of essence. I've said it earlier, nobody begged President Julius Maada Bio to come in governance, to run for president. He spent 22 months going around this country to say, I'm going to fix things. I'm bringing a new direction. And this direction is a lost direction now, because I know for sure that when you, for example now, the rice you were talking about, the local rice is more expensive than the imported rice due to the transportation and some other things. So if government is really serious, it's not just telling ministers or top government officials to go build farms. No. Empower the women, empower the farmers, have money allocated for farmers. Every developed country do that. America has a whole bank called a farmers bank, where farmers go to borrow money to farm. They do that. Be serious. You know, Samuel, when you use propaganda and lies to control the economy, I've said this before. The judges of this country are the people. Come 2023, they are going to judge. I'm just saying things here to help President Julius Maada be a better president. That's why I'm opposing. But come 2023, the real judge is not going to be Mohamed Kamarimba. It's going to be the people. And these people will understand that. You know what? You've been talking about economy, farming, agriculture, and all of that, but now, and that's what I said, he is going to be a one-time president, a OTP club that's already formed in West Africa. Goodluck Jonathan is there, Mahama is there, and President Bio would definitely be there if he doesn't buckle up and raise the bar and govern well. I've told them last month, he has about 20 months to do this. The past 20 months or 22 months is a complete failure. I know for sure there's a word there, he said, we inherited a hopeless government, hopeless economy. So, so for me, now, they've really transformed from hopeless to useless. To me, this government is not useful. Okay. Because for the past 22 months, extreme and excruciating hardship, Samuel, and lack of employment, you can see a lot of things going bad in this country, and even security is not that too good for the country. Okay. So we need to understand that you're not just talking about hopeless, you're talking about useless government going forward. Thank you. We need to use
as we round up, Joe, you have.
So, Fambule, I don't see the main reason why Kamarimba still in a prison, despite the fact that there was a statement said they don't grant him bail. Now the U.S. embassy said they're shocked because I mean it seemed as if the government tricked them, because they know some of them details say what they don't put inside them and then gadgets in there, then they release them out. So like I mean, anything we're happy now, maybe now for the next one. And unprofessional, this is very, very damning, very, very disgraceful for the country. We don't talk about. So this is now one of the issues that we've won. I mean, like just like where Kamarima the talker, opposition is not an enemy to the state. In fact, they complement the job of the government because I mean, there should be people outside of your inner circle who always they tell you certain things they will not go well. So we call on the government, make them buckle up, make them do the right thing. And I mean, there are human rights violations there where they highlight, make them go back, particularly the police. They mention the police, the justice system, the political harassment, the killings, all of these things for stop, particularly where they come towards the election. So it means a lot. And this one, a very, very sensitive election because Sierra Leoneans and definitely going to make a choice now. Given the time frame we get now, we will continue at least for support with information. We're not going to be the people and for make a decision. Now, let me come back to the next topic here. Very interesting here. We don't make a whole program on this regarding the issue of fake degrees there. Now, why this issue important? It means a lot because this now the entire country made they at stake because particularly when you get some few people that will feel they will cheat the system and that's wrong. And I mean, education now the key towards development. And that I make right now, if you check out the world they move, people and particularly in the West are not too care about doctors getting too much degrees. I mean, there are people themselves where we know where I mean they're not even calling themselves doctor. There are people like ex-president Obama. He gets more than 10, 20 doctorate degrees. Me never see them call her Dr. Obama. I know of a lot of people that will get doctors, but some people and elect them title for calling them doctor just because they want to prove something, say they are there, they are top there. It's not about how long, it's not about the title level you get. It's not about the master's, the PhD you get. It's about competence. Now they watch what now they that I make people institutions or companies like Google, Facebook, Microsoft these days now they look about too much of you degrees that which you get. In fact, they can even hire an high school graduate. They left somebody with MBA if you meet the requirements and if you're able to solve the problem. So let me pay attention on some of them here because it tends with reputation as a country. Now, it's good when we leaders when we vote for the parliament to talk about this, which means the thing what they talk now it can make sense. Now, if you see the origin point, they don't mean say what you can talk in there. Yeah, take a look at the point where KKY they make regarding the fake degrees and fake PhD there. We don't scatter all about now the country, especially to the top ranked people where they in governance where they pay money for getting them. Take a look at that.
Colleagues, I want to commend our two colleagues for moving this motion. It is a disgrace to have people wanting to have credentials by subterfuge rather than paying the price to gain knowledge. So personally, I felt really embarrassed to see some of the big names that were paying for PhDs. I believe I want to commend them for doing this motion, but I like what Honorable Acting Leader of Government Business, Honorable Bash, suggested. It's a Herculean task for one small committee. I think his modification was really correct, that we empower our existing select committees for the various sector ministries to carry out this exercise. This other committee, I think, should basically try to coordinate that action to make sure that, in fact, the select committees are doing this. Section 93, subsection 6, indeed empowers select committees to demand these documents. I think that's an important modification that Honorable Bashir Siliki made. This other committee can help coordinate to make sure we don't slack off, and in fact it is done on time, and the reports then they can jointly compile with the chairs of those committees. Having said that, I also want to state, when I watched the excuses some people are giving that, I paid to some institution in Dubai $5,000 so they conferred it upon me so it's legitimate. You don't pay. Those of us, I have about 4 or 5 honorary doctorates. you don't pay. It is very difficult for those institutions to give you an honorary doctorate. It's a process. They nominate, committees examine, they do due diligence of your service to mankind.
In fact, it is the Latin term for it is honoris causa.
So when I see people, very senior people in this society, justifying that, oh, I did not pay, my committee paid, my ministry, the point is you don't pay.
You are
recognized for your service. So my main comment here is, as we do this exercise, we should demand as Parliament, all of those who paid, any institution, whether in the UK, Dubai, or wherever, you renounce publicly. Don't give us an excuse that you paid for a degree. No, if you're paying, pay fees and go through the process. Go through the process. People should know, for those of us who studied in America, for a PhD, you take courses for sometimes 2 years. After you finish, and you should pass minimum B grade, after you finish all your coursework, they organize a comprehensive exam. That final exam, they allow you to fail once. In fact, at Oxford University, you fail, you're out. They don't care if you've paid for 2 years. In the United States,
in Cambridge, you are not even allowed
to fail the comprehensive. They don't care. You pay 2 years, every course, minimum B. Then you take the comprehensive exam. You fail once, they say come back. You fail twice, they say thank you very much. Your 2 years is gone. So when we see people circumventing the process, and now it is wrong. If you're paying, pay to Frabe College, Jala, wherever, go through the coursework. I believe we should demand, and that's what I want to see government do, demand that all those who paid come public and renounce. Then we know they regret, because it's a bad signal to our young people. Don't worry. Wait till you accumulate money, or maybe come from a rich family, pay somebody to give you a degree. I also believe, I know the technical legal clarification that ACC was making about advantage. The issue is not about advantage. It's about morality in society. Morality in society. The kids are already cheating in primary school. They're cheating in secondary school. Suddenly, they found out that the big bosses are also cheating. You're making a society where meritocracy does not work anymore, where people believe they can be called any title by paying. No. Honorable Speaker, the whole nation, it's almost like sacrilege. We should all be seen speaking with one voice that this is not tolerable. Those who paid, I saw a confidential exchange of another big man with a friend of mine who was so appalled. This man got an honorary doctorate from an institution that is not an academic institution. Give me a break. You don't get a doctorate from a business. You get a doctorate from an accredited academic institution. Honoris causa is given to individuals after due diligence and scrutiny of their service to society. You don't pay for it. So I really believe one message today, Mr. Speaker, you should make for all of us, that we in Parliament, the people's representatives, believe this is immoral in society. We need to send a signal to our children and big men and women in this country that we don't tolerate it. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, so Famble, the big guys in our Parliament don't themselves don't jump into this ban wagon regarding this fake degrees the way people enjoy they buy, particularly people the way they in a position of authority where don't get money now, we don't get power. They will increase them prestige and privilege and make them feel. Make them feel like say like they're worth it or they can able to deliver. The point is, we for understand something very clear here. When we left an institution, when we left a country like that in the form of giving people and waiting and buying for sell everything, if everything is for sale, you begin to give people out like where the institution just a award degrees the way people are not married, then definitely the worst they happen. I mean, for destroy a country, for destroy a nation, according to some experts, you don't even need an atomic bomb. You don't need even a missile for camp. You just lower the quality of education and then make them free for all. Definitely, some people will not even qualify for be doctors. They can even get doctorate degrees and will be doctors. And then people, and they, if they're not check there and they go to hospital or go check patients or whatever, definitely what you go expect, not more death. And those people are when academic doctors, I mean, if the difference between an academic doctor and a medical doctor, now very, very, very sharp difference. One, when a medical doctor make a mistake, if you make mistake na theater, it kill one person. Well, when a philosophical doctor, particularly them PhD, how they talk about, it kill thousands because the word it is spread. Imagine somebody can he believe her because you say he call himself doctor, he begin talk. XYZ and as well happen. People may the doctor talk. He passed from maybe sometimes talk to 500 people. Then 500 people and get people that will believe them. Now so the other 500 people and get people. Now so the word is spread. If Nabati talk before you remember, fire don't spread. Fire don't spread all over. I mean, if in a disaster, if in a problem, if in a death don't take place. So that make the danger of having these degrees without merit is very, very serious. And we're happy where we leaders and take notes and try at least the best will come up with do some sort of solutions there and call on those people who don't receive and I come publicly again and can apologize to the nation and una pull on it. I mean, at least one way or the other. So at the end of the day, people at least go see less in this indeed mean something according to KKY. At least una regrets for the attempted cheating because this completely not cheating, you know. Anyway, this now we get time for we tell you plenty thank you, and we will come back another day with another very important segment. Let's see. Yes, this one. They come up from Abdul Adam Say Kamara. Thanks for the job. Yeah, Abdul Adam Say. Thank you very much. Okay, guys. Now goodbye. We'll come back very soon with another very important segment. Always don't forget we go to YouTube. Just click on the YouTube subscribe button on TPP Leone, and we will be happy for you. And we continue for bring for more. Bye bye.
For news every day now we can't alone.